is naughty and might make you a potty mouth.
Oh, my God!
That's what this team's all about, defense and working hard.
How could he do that?
Puppy.
9 to noon.
Alrighty now. What? Hey, didn't know these weak tracks had horns. Talker Tuesday's in the air. The giggle belongs to young Maxwell.
Hey!
Yeah, hey. Young Maxwell's producing 9 to noon today, so there's that.
Oh my gosh.
Don't call it a comeback. He's never been gone.
Oh my gosh.
Back on the block again, on the block again, back on the block again, on the block again.
Oh my gosh.
I mean,
Above average at that.
hey, Max, thanks for helping.
Oh, thanks for having me. Buenos dias.
Buenos dias, soy Pablito. No tengo tiempo para Maxwell. All right, and Las Carreras. All right, I guess we might as well do the segments, right?
I guess so.
Talk. I can't even look at you when I'm trying to play that role with theater of the mind. I can't even look at you in that big smile, that big, beautiful smile, and the Darnell Hillman mane just dripping off the top of your skull.
Oh, stop. If I was white right now, I'd be blushing.
Yeah, I say that. I'm walking around New Orleans by myself for 3 days.
I always love that one.
All right, man. I'm glad you're laughing. Don't call it a comeback. Somebody's never been gone. So thanks for helping produce 9 to noon today. Nordo out today and tomorrow. And word has it, rumor has it, the word in the neighborhood is that young Maxwell's going to be howling with this homie the next couple of days. So get us up to speed on terminology we may hear from you today.
Yeah.
Part of the 9 to noon Kids Covenant includes young Maxwell, as in Max Fuller, a.k.a., what is it, Frogard Humphrey? What is it?
Humphrey Frogard, a.k.a. Rudy Frobert, a.k.a. Leonardo DeMax Prio, a.k.a. Leonardo DeMax Pre-Fro. Maxtrick Mahomes. No. Patrick Max Holmes.
Oh, I don't want to go to New Orleans again.
Shohei Frotani.
I ate so much shrimp and grits and red beans and rice.
Shohei Ohtani.
Smoked sausage. Stop! Went to the racetrack and got killed and was just lamenting. Stop!
Froby Bryant. I can keep going all day.
Don't call it a comeback. Max,
I've been here for years.
Because you've never been gone. All right, 3-2. 9 to noon is in the air. Terminology you may hear today from the producer, Maxwell Fuller, includes but is not limited to. What's cap as in no cap?
It means lying. Cap is a lie. So if you're saying no cap, you're saying I'm not lying. But if you're declaring cap, you're usually calling somebody a liar, a fibber.
And Riz?
Riz is, I mean, it might as well just be a synonym for Megs, baby. I mean, come on now. It's charisma. Stop! That's where it comes from.
Are the lines still long at the airport? Can I go to New Orleans at 11 a.m.?
You'd rather deal with the TSA than the MAX, though?
And low key.
Low key, I mean, it speaks for itself. You keep it on the low, but it's not something that's like a secret. Mm-hmm. But it might be something that it's a hidden gem that people ain't talking about.
And sus,
sus is suspect. You don't want to be sus. You don't want anything to be declared sus whatsoever.
And bet
it up is just like that's like the most solid form of affirmation you could have. If somebody says bet, that means the job is going to get done.
All right. So if I say Wolves and Rockets, first round of the postseason, would you say bet, or would you wait for me to say Wolves, Lakers, first round of the postseason, bet? Which is the bet?
I'd rather see Houston. That'd be the bet for me. That'd be the bet, the barbecue bet of Wolves versus Houston. I'd rather see that.
Why has it got to be a barbecue bet?
And talking about the Texas, that Houston barbecue, baby.
Oh yeah. Why would I think? How come my Delta app's not working? Don't call it a comeback. Mac's never been gone. And T.
Tea. Oh, spilling the tea. That's like gossip. The
you
goss.
knew that one.
Yeah, I did know that one. That's like the goss. If you're telling someone what's the tea, what's the word, what's going on, what's the happenings.
Mm-hmm. And ghost.
Ghosting somebody, oof, I've been there before, brother. You know, right, a long time ago. It's been a while since your boy. A long time since your boy been ghost.
Before It's Just Lunch, you were ghosted and left on red.
That's why I'm on. That's why I got It's Just Lunch now. And you know, call me Harold Remus or whatever because your boy ain't getting ghosted no more. You know what I'm saying?
Who's Harold Remus?
Isn't that the guy from Ghostbusters?
Oh, Ghostbusters.
Yeah, so your boy been busting ghosts. But yeah, that's when you get left on red. Okay. That's when somebody doesn't respond to you.
Okay. 17 and a half segments now with Max Fuller producing 9 to noon over the next couple of days. So what we're doing here is just, reacclimating, getting up to speed with some of the terminology you may hear. 9 to noon. It includes, but is not limited to cap, no cap, Riz, low key, sus, bet, T, ghost. What about Menti B?
Menti B, that's what you're having right now, having to work with me for the next 2 days. That's a mental breakdown right there.
Oh, Menti B. It's not Minty B. It's met like minty as in like mint, like
it's fresh. Yeah, right. No, I think it's a mental breakdown.
Menti B. Menti B though. Delulu.
It's delusional. Your boy's I'm always delulu about Minnesota sports. I'm always delusionally hopeful, delusionally optimistic, delusionally starry-eyed.
So basically, as I heard with the commercial before we commenced with 9 to noon, and Max endorsing It's Just Lunch. You went there because with the apps, you were like swiping and chatting and swiping and chatting, and then all of a sudden there'd be a Covenant catch-up or a Covenant I'd say hookup or meeting, and like the whole thing was Delulu and you had to run the other way.
Yeah, sometimes, the shorties can get a little Delulu about the outlook of the situation. So your boy had to, venture on over to It's Just Lunch to make some real connections.
Is this still Mardi Gras down there?
I always love that one.
All right. What about That Slaps?
That slaps. That's a banger. That goes hard. That's groovy. It's every generation has their term for slaps essentially, and it's just the evolution of that term. That means it's high quality.
And beta.
Beta, I think that's beta. I think that's like you're not.
Well, you got alpha and beta. So alpha,
you're not the top. You're not the top dog.
Okay, so you're like a follower.
Yeah, but alpha kind of has a negative connotation these days. I mean, it kind of means you're like a dude, bro, like a incel kind of dude. Nobody just you don't get to declare yourself an alpha. You let the people do that. The lion doesn't got to be like, yo, I'm the king of the jungle. The other animals just stay away because they know he's the king. So if you're saying you were alpha, you kind of on some beta status.
What?
Oh my gosh, can you
breaking down the lingo.
We're coming.
And drip.
I mean, again, you could just look up the synonym. You could just, if the camera's on right now, I could just explain it visually better than I could explain it over this microphone. But that's swagger. Father, that's fashion. That means you got it going on with your outfit, with your looks, with the aura. Is that on the list too?
Why, Father? Why? And Finsta?
I think that's like a fit Instagram or like
or maybe fake.
A fake Instagram too. But that's like a burner account. That's the other word for that. The burner account. Kevin Durant, infamous for his burner accounts. He got in a little hot water. Yeah. Maybe you could say he got burned from having the burner accounts and gossiping about his teammates past and present.
And Yeet.
Yeet doesn't really have like a real meaning. It's kind of gone. It used to be like you're yeeting something, like you just like throw something out the window. You're throwing something out the way, throwing that sentence out of there, throwing that idea, concept. But now it's kind of become more like a bet kind of thing, like an affirmation. Yeet is chameleon-like. It can be many things.
So saucy with those things protruding from his sternum does a lot of yeeting.
I always love that.
Is that
That works.
Okay.
I think that works. Yeah.
cool? So this. All right, I think I got it. So this works for today's show, right?
Yeah.
Here we go. Low key, it's a Talk Back Talker Tuesday, meaning it's opposite sus, no cap, because we have a prize to deliver, and after you win the prize, we promise not to ghost you. Bet.
Shakespeare, eat your heart out. I mean, come on.
Was that Wadsworthian?
It really was. It should be on a tome somewhere.
So it worked?
Put in the British Museum. That was elegant. That was beautiful.
I did it right?
Absolutely. The English language at its apex.
Low key, it's a Talk Back Talker Tuesday, meaning it's opposite sus, no cap, because we have a prize to deliver, and after you win, the promise is we won't ghost you. Bet. How about this? Low key. No Menti B with Gessling joining at 10, and Pookie doesn't play with the T, the gossip. High key, nothing but facts from the non-beta, who's anything but Delulu with Vikings coverage. Bet. Benny G segment slap, likewise for his drip, because low-key, stylish yeet.
I always love that one.
I mean, you got to put a beat behind that one. Those were bars right there.
Eminem, though.
Going triple platinum, though.
Mom Spaghetti, though.
Benny G, though. I'm going to steal that. I'm going to start calling him Benny G from
I'm
now
broke,
on.
but I'm dope, but I'm broke.
Too close to home,
This
though.
happens every single time I see you, and I haven't seen you in a long time.
I know, I was going to say,
And
I
after
think we had a
January
real...
23rd, I thought I'd never see you again. And low key, it's not cap, it's bet. Low key, no Menti B with Gessling joining at 10, and Pookie doesn't play with the T, the gossip. High key, nothing but facts from the non-beta, who's anything but Delulu with Vikings coverage. Bet. Benny G segment slap, likewise for his drip, because low key, stylish yeet. That's so much fun, you wacky kids. Did you go to Saudi Arabia? And if so, what was it like?
I was supposed to go to Saudi Arabia. It was actually pretty crazy how it happened. Me and one of my best friends, he works for the airport. We often travel together.
Mm-hmm.
He has the same kind of life goal as me, trying to see every country in
Does
the
he
world.
work for TSA?
No, he does not work for TSA.
Okay,
He's
I'm going to stop that right there with where like 2% of mines are going.
Yeah.
When I say, does he work with TSA, that means it's like, it's like fist bumping people with TSA is always cool. You know what I mean? Ain't like anybody's trying to sneak stuff through or trying to be dumb or anything. It's just, that's a hard job.
It is.
That is a hard job, specifically in this day and age, in the age of rage. So anytime you can offer up a smile to a TSA person, give them a little fist bump, no cap.
No cap, bet it up.
Yeah, that's low key happiness.
He actually does people's luggage. He's the guy that throws the luggage into the planes and whatnot. So, and we were deciding betwing going
He
to.
doesn't throw it in. He gently drops it in. Gently places it in.
He'd be launching some Hail Marys.
You
Some of
can't
those guys-
say that on the
some of
radio.
those
You can't say that. Don't call it a comeback. I don't want to call it a comeback. Come on.
All right, he gently places it in the plane. He does it with a lot of care and a lot of comfort for the luggage.
So you went to Turkey?
Yeah, I went to Turkey. We were deciding between if we were going to go to Asia, if we were going to go to the Middle East, and I was just like, "Yo, let's go to the Middle East. Let's just do something totally different." And my friend, he was kind of like, "Yo, I've been keeping abreast with the news right now. It kind of looks like war is on the precipice of breaking out." And I was like, "Dog, come on! Like, we'll be waiting our whole lives if that's what we're going to be worried about." And then, the day that I was supposed to leave Turkey for Dubai, said war did, in fact, start. I was literally supposed to, it was the day I was supposed to leave Istanbul.
What?
Because me and my friend, we do a lot of stuff last minute. He hit his head at work, and he had to get stitches. So he was
by throwing those suitcases.
But throwing those suitcases, I mean, gently placing them in the plane.
Placing them in there like they all do.
And he was going to get to Dubai later than we had planned. So I was like, okay, I'll buy the later flight then. I was originally supposed to take an earlier flight. I was like, all right, I'll buy the later flight. I bought the flight, ate breakfast, took a shower, got out of the shower, and war had started in Iran. And then pretty soon, rapidly after, the rest of the Middle East region. So had he not hit his head, I should say, I would have gotten stuck in Dubai. And then the place that we bought was on the beach, literally near where missiles hit. Not saying I would have got hit, not trying to over dramatize it or anything
in the
like
United Arab Emirates.
Yes.
In Dubai.
Yes.
The home of Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum.
Yes.
Shake what?
No, that Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum and his brother Al Maktoum Al. I ain't kidding you.
I know.
No cap.
I know. No cap
That's
on
no
that
cap
one.
on those
And that's
names.
not low key either.
No.
But yeah, it was, our place was right by where some of the missiles hit. So yeah, we ended up, dodging a literal and metaphorical bullet there. And we had to just kind of, redo the whole trip. We were supposed to go from Dubai to India to Oman. Obviously, India wasn't shut down, but the airspace in Dubai and Oman was shut down. And then trying to, re-navigate to India, it basically was impossible to get west because if they can't fly over any of those Middle Eastern countries, they basically can't get you back anywhere west. So instead of going,
it was tenuous.
yeah,
It got tenuous.
It got tenuous, and it was real quick. Like I said, it was literally the day, several hours before I was supposed to leave. That's when this war started. So quick on the fly, we had to just kind of reconfigure the whole trip, and just ended up being a crazy whirlwind, and just hitting a couple more countries in Europe there.
Young Maxwell,
Hey,
when you were in Turkey, did you happen to venture to a part of Turkey called Tarsus?
no, I didn't get a chance
Are
to.
you familiar with the name Tarsus?
No, I don't think so.
Biblically speaking, it is the birthplace and the home of a man who used to be known as Saul, and then he became the Apostle Paul.
Oh,
So therefore, it's rich in history. In fact, biblically speaking, that part of the world was known as Asia Minor. However, when Maxwell ventures over there, they call it Asia Major. Don't call it a comeback.
ain't nothing minor about your boy.
So I've been meaning to ask you that for weeks, and it's great to see you.
That's great to see you too.
Also, with you in the neighborhood, I've been meaning to ask you this for weeks. Also, Wild and Lightning, 6:30 KFAN tonight. Without Kaprizov and Erickson Eck, what have you thought of the Wild's neutral zone trap?
I always love that one.
PA, I got a lot of thoughts on it, but I don't want to take up the whole show. We got so many different segments and guests to get to. I don't want to be over your head a little bit, like I'm just so deep into this hockey thing. I wouldn't want to confuse you or the general audience who's not nearly as sophisticated with their hockey knowledge as I am.
Stop! Well, so with tonight, what I mean, in the latter stages of the season, what's more important tonight for the Christmas colors in Florida taking on the Tampa Bay Lightning? Is it slowing Kucherov or is it penetrating Vasilevsky?
I always love that one.
What's more significant, Maxwell?
Is it, to steal a bit from you, is it better to say Kucherov or play Kucherov?
I think that's copyright Dan Cole, the Common Man. And I actually used that on somebody this weekend with a name. I can't remember what the name was. It might have been Cody McMahon, who at one point somebody thought was Cootie McMahon. And I'm like, if you're that coach, what do you like doing more? Playing Cootie or saying Cootie?
I always love that
But then we
one.
realized it was Cody, and then she fouled out, and the whole bet was dead.
No, the Wild dude got to be a little bit better on defense.
Do you know the origin of the term bet? There's an origin.
I didn't know. No, I did not.
It has to involve this. If it involves something else, then we got Talk Back Talker Tuesday, and a prize to be given away at the near the end of the radio show, courtesy of Northern Fire, NorthernFireBBQ.com. Craps tables. You're familiar with the game craps?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so with craps, you have a stick man. You got the dealers, they're called, where they place the chip on the number and they take the bets and pay the bets and stuff like that. But you have kind of an overseer of the game called the croupier. The croupier. So if yours truly or young Emwell, like we're looking at that craps table and all of a sudden you start feeling a 6 and you got a green chip, $25 chip. And like my man has the dice in his hands about ready to roll.
Yeah.
And then just at the last second, legitimately, legally, dice are not in the air, haven't hit the table. You're like, $25 6, and you put it in front of you. $25 6. Croupier goes, bet. And that signifies the bet. It's age old. It goes way, way back. It's a craps-related term involving bets that hit the table late, and they determine no bet or bet. And I think that's what the origin of bet was.
It's got to be the origin of it.
That's fascinating.
Absolutely, yeah. And craps is big where that would have originated.
I mean, stories like that, 9 to noon, are what make up the fiber of yours truly heading to New Orleans for 2.5 days by himself.
I always love that one.
No, actually, I don't. Next segment is Calm, Confusing, and Controversy. The next segment is entitled Calm, Confusing, and Controversy. And some of the names and or topics that will be broached during said segment include, but are not limited to, Kyler Murray, J.J. McCarthy, Chris Finch, Julius Randle, and 4-game sans Anthony Edwards. Kyler Murray, J.J. McCarthy, and the T-Wolves without Ant. They make the chat no cap. Some things were sus before he got hurt, but most of the last 4 have been on hit legit, and betas have become alphas right before our very ears. So we're going to require some Maxwell commentary on some of your best minutes and change on Kyler Murray joining your favorite team. In fact, let's do that right now. Kyler Murray is a member of the Minnesota Vikings covenant. Your thoughts?
I'm super excited about it just in general. I think that Kyler Murray, I mean, honestly, if you look at it just from the moment that they walked in the door, Kyler Murray is less of a project, hypothetically, than Sam was walking through the door. If you're from the mind of KOC, like Sam walking through the door, because obviously he's a Super Bowl champion now, MVP-esque player. But when he first walked through this door, Sam was like a dissertation. If you're thinking of school projects, he was like a dissertation. Kyler Murray is more like a midterm.
Yeah, it's like a midterm.
It's more like a midterm. It's not as much of an arduous task to try to get this project done. And I think he just adds so many elements to this team that were missing last year. Not only the deep ball, the ability to take the top off of defenses that just clearly wasn't there. That has been a feature in the KOC-led Vikings offense, and it just wasn't there with J.J. McCarthy, Carson Wentz, and just the kind of carousel of quarterbacks that we had last year. We didn't have that deep ball ability. We didn't even have really the intermediate ball to necessarily. So I think Kyler Murray with what?
Can you repeat the part of this stuff where you said all about the things?
Now, I'm still locked on the dissertation and the midterm. And now we're talking about, it's what? So you're excited for Kyler Murray.
I'm excited.
A return of deep game, return of big plays.
Yes.
Sadly, some may go the other way.
Right.
Sadly, but that happens to everybody. Even Tom Brady has thrown pick sixes.
For sure.
When Kyler Murray takes off, if Kyler Murray can recognize consistently the difference between man and zone defense, and he gets outside, and he's got backs turned to him, I mean, he's going to run from Maui to Minnetonka, and they're going to be chasing the wind. That has to excite you, young Maxwell.
Absolutely. The mobility is a huge factor. I think I think it's fair to say he's probably the most mobile quarterback that KOC has had that could potentially be QB1 under his tenure here with the Vikings. And that obviously helps creatively with all the different type of rollouts and whatnot. Obviously, we saw kind of how the offensive line, if we're going to see that similar type of offensive line play this year, then the escapability factor is going to be a benefit for this team. In general, and I mean that's a premium. Because JJ Carson, whoever it was kind of under duress last year. So that escapability factor, that mobility, is not only going to help the lessen the load for the offensive line, but it's also going to help the run game in turn, because you have to pay attention to Kyler, not just Kyler with his arm, but Kyler with his legs.
But let's not forget, Kevin O'Connell at one point had Joshua Dobbs in his stable. Now, the difference here is Dobbs runs and Kyler runs and passes and doesn't throw passes that send excellent players to the hospital.
Sorry, KFAN.
So there's a difference there between those two.
Right.
All right. So, here we are in this big old empty world staring each other down. If you're J.J. McCarthy, are you low-key hoping to move? And if so, does that mean joining Finsta? Is that the next step, or am I Delulu? The last 4, sans Ant, have some polarizing numbers. A signature win at Boston, and flowers blossoming. But is it a mirage? Are people envisioning the Minnesota Timberwolves winning at the highest level without Anthony Edwards? Because that should be all about sus. No cap. You feel me? Think about it. Is it a mirage? Are people envisioning the Minnesota Timberwolves winning at the very highest level without Anthony Edwards? Because that take there should be all about sus. That's no cap. I think Max feels me. That's the next segment. Calm, confusion, and controversy. Thanks to Northern Fire and Northern Fire BBQ. Tuesdays have some talk back to the equation for the iHeart Audio app. You get it. Play off this if you are so inclined. Here comes that Finchy bite.
In hockey,
Nope. Go on to hit stop. 3-2. To win at the highest level in hockey, you need the right goal. You need the right goalie. In baseball, the best pitchers, and in football,
football, it's the quarterback.
3-2. But what is it with basketball? That's what I asked Chris Finch last Friday. What do you have to absolutely have in the NBA to party with the Lombardi? No crying with the O'Brien. I asked the question to Finchy Friday, and we're going to get his response after you hear me say that entire thing again.
That's a really good question.
Nice play.
Well, I mean, you got to have the right superstar. I think, it's a superstar driven league. You got to have a highly coachable superstar that's committed to, both ends of the floor and, who can get baskets on a demand. It's funny, like I look at it like this, PA. So, an organization's mission is to how do we make our best players better? By the decisions that we make about who we surround them with. Are they good fits? The DNA, the character, the locker room, the leadership, all this stuff. Like, how do we support the very best players on the team? And then those very best players have to make everybody else better, right? So if they're able to then make their teammates 10% better across the way, then you have then that's the formula for me. So I don't know if that answers your question. And if you had to say one thing, on the defensive end, you got to have rim protection. You got to have rim protection, really, you got to be able to be really, really good at the rim. As much as important 3-point shooting is, there's still a variance to it. You still can try to contest and bother as much as you possibly can. You can try to limit the volume, but you really got to win the rim on a nightly basis.
Finchy. Play off that if you want with the Talkback Talker Tuesday and the Northern Fire prize to be given away at the end. What single facet in hockey, baseball, football, and basketball do you have to win at the very highest level? Now, the talkbacks can include, but do not have to be limited to that topic. You can fire away with questions, comments and or concerns with things or compliments with things going on in the local sports scene. This is the only show of the core four that respects the talkback process, which makes the others betas. Young Maxwell has a prize to deliver end of the presentation. Pookie. And the reason I'm calling you Pookie is because when I looked up this list of teen lingo from 2023 to current, Pookie was part of it, and it's like a man's best friend.
Pookie?
So I can call you Dog. Why Dog? It's a man's best friend. But I saw Pookie, so or I'll just call you Max and just get on with my life at 11:55 today and not have to worry about anything.
Pookie's fine. I like Pookie.
What is that prize we're giving away today?
I do not have it up right now. I'm not. Sorry about that.
That's okay.
I'm rusty.
It's a Northern Fire prize package, and I believe it's worth $25. So we are going to need to give that away at the end of the radio presentation. I believe there's a program director you can contact to learn exactly what goes into that if you are so inclined. Anybody out there like the Wild to win the Stanley Cup? That can be part of the Talkback Talker Tuesday mix. If you're interested, yesterday, just here in closing for this segment, man, I just went 29 minutes with Maxwell.
Oh my gosh!
I have no idea what anything that was said from no cap through what's the prize, but nevertheless, here we are. I called the Dallas Stars yesterday, and I don't know how this came up, but I called them vibe suckers, and here's what I meant, and I'm glad that I remembered this because. You're all about a vibe, right?
Absolutely. Your boy is a vibe.
Yeah, he's a vibe. I mean, like I said, when he's in Turkey, he's not. He makes Asia Minor Asia Major. Here's what I meant. The Dallas Stars suck the air out of road arenas with the way they play. Now, the Wild beat them in overtime over the weekend, but the whole thing was in play. They're vibe suckers. They just suck the vibe out of road arenas. Now, you got like Colorado. So Colorado, Dallas, and the Minnesota Wild. Colorado has some racehorse hockey to it with Nathan McKinnon. And arenas are lively when he and Cale Makar play. People are on the edges of their seats and they're standing up because they want to beat McKinnon and they want to beat Makar. But then you get to the vibe suckers. I mean, they got Robertson, Johnston, Heiskanen, Duchesne, Ottinger. I mean, all good players. They're vibe suckers, all of them. Every single one of them, vibe suckers. Lindell and Rantanen, too. McKinnon brings vibe and aura, and people desperately want to beat him and them. Fun, lively arenas when you play Colorado. The vibe suckers, when they get here, like this weekend, even though we got the money, but we're probably going to get them in the first round, these vibe suckers, they have you in your hockey for dummies manual 5 minutes into it because they're so schematically sound.
I always love that one.
It's like page 18 of my hockey for dummies manual. What did they just do on the power play when they lined 4 guys up and then one guy just took off and it was complete chaos? And it was order and chaos and order and chaos and order and chaos. The vibe suckers have you in that hockey for dummies manual so much, man, that it just slows everything down. And what are they doing? They're sucking the vibe out of arenas. They don't. The Stars don't shoot it as much as others either. So, like, they're one of the best teams in the NHL, but they're 27th in shots. All right, but they're 8th in high danger shots.
Oh my gosh!
Which means they're a bunch of vibe sucking no-namers with strange. They're a bunch of vibe-sucking no-namers with stranger danger goals.
I always love that one.
What in the hell just happened over the last 30 minutes? TimberTech, TimberTech.com. What's on deck 9 to noon? Includes the scribe, Ben Gessling, joining us about 10 o'clock. Got some KG cuts, as in not Kevin Gorg, but Kevin Garnett. And analysis is required at 11 o'clock. And alas, leave your talkbacks for us today. And do so at the free iHeart Audio app. We will sprinkle them in during the course of the radio show. And near the end of the radio show, somebody wins a Northern Fire Barbecue prize package. And by the time you win it, we promise we will know exactly what it is. It may be $250. Maybe it's $2,500. Maybe it's $25,000. Or maybe it's a $25 prize pack from Northern Fire BBQ.com. TimberTech, TimberTech.com. Thank you very much for your inclusion. Young Maxwell, Max Fuller produces 9 to noon, and I'm Paul Allen. We're all snuggled up together here on this Tuesday at FM 100.3 KFAN. Confusing, controversial. Max is broke, but he's dope, but he's broke.
Talk about it.
938, FM 100.3, KFAN. Welcome back to Calm. Here's the calm. All is calm on the Kyler front until we play the games. And I'm not saying that calm will lead to calamity, but when you play the games, things can be antithetical to calm. I mean, they can be jubilant, and they also can be negative. But it's all calm right now on the Kyler front. By the way, DeAndre Hopkins. Yeah, that guy. DeAndre Hopkins wants to play here. Hopkins recently told TMZ that he'd like to reunite with quarterback Kyler Murray in Minnesota. Quote, Kyler, that's my bro, man. Kyler is like family. Whatever I can do for someone like that, if Kyler needed me, if the Vikings need me, they know I'll be there. DeAndre Hopkins, I mean, it's like, there's some point a career's end, and you're like skeletal remains thereof of DeAndre Hopkins, but you got D-Hop, as Max calls him. D-Hop begging to come here, not even knowing that Kyler's going to start. Or does he? D-Hop ain't broke. He is dope, but he's not broke. Where did I get that from?
I'm not sure. I've heard it before, but I don't know.
Is that Lose Yourself, Eminem?
Let me see. I don't think so.
I think it's something like that. I've said it like 19 times this morning, even before I got on the radio. Don't know why I'm all hooked up on that right now. Calm, confusing, controversial. With Kyler Murray and the Kyler calm right now, it involves what people think about him. Doom scrolling and flipping through shorts. That's the generation. We're in a doom scrolling and shorts generation. Most see the dazzling plays. Few know about the video game bit in Arizona and the contract from back in the day. And all are curious to see what it looks like. It's the Kyler calm. To some, this could fit like if there were a calamity portion of the equation. But it's Kyler calm. It's Kyler calm in March. And quite honestly, I'm very excited to watch the young man play. That camp would preach potential problems or Kyler calamity include, but may not be limited to, meshing with what the head coach wants. Head swiveling, or lack thereof. Head swiveling the play and not running after the first two options appear covered. Coming into Wednesday practice so well prepared, the quarterback's coach is like, dang, well done, young man. That's all part of the Kyler calm. Such an amazing opportunity here for Kyler Murray. Such an amazing opportunity. An entire offseason for he and the staff to work cool plays where you have to double Jefferson. About ready to get you excited over there. Ready?
Oh, yeah.
An entire season for Kyler Murray, the former coach of the year, and a high-end staff from a mental standpoint, working cool plays where you have to double Jefferson, Addison, and Hawkinson will get the most one-on-ones of their careers. And if Kyler sees man defense with backs turned, there will be plays he runs. He runs from everybody breaking ankles and hearts along the way and leaving many all wide-eyed. Yeah, I thought it'd get you excited when I wrote it.
I am excited.
No, I didn't.
I was trying to let you cook.
No, you don't have to be fake. No cap. Okay, it was sus. I didn't write it the right way. Kyler is the calm portion of this calm, confusing, controversial, calamity-filled piece, and that leads to potential and or perceived controversy. Now, I've seen this online, and it's not corroborated by anybody in the know. And quite honestly, until .com Tom or Shefty or somebody like that goes with something like this, then it's what we call hevel, which is the Hebrew word for vapor or smoke. It's like chasing after the wind. It's chasing after the hevel. But for the purpose of the bit, calm, confusing, and controversy. Would the Minnesota Vikings trade McCarthy or would he request a trade? Would the Minnesota Vikings trade J.J. McCarthy or will he request a trade given the recent circumstances with quarterback central and what's happening here with the Minnesota Vikings, including Kyler Calm and Carson Calm? Should he request a start anew? This is all part of that Talkback Talker Tuesday, you see, with the Northern Fire Prize package available at the end of the show. We've had 8 minutes to unfurl or unveil and uncover what that prize package is. Let's head over to the prize package desk and see if we've made any progress.
Stop!
Have we made any progress?
Cricket.
Don't call it a comeback.
Cricket.
He's broke, but he's dope, but he's broke.
I Googled that, by the way. Nothing comes up.
Really?
You might have made that up.
Oh, geez. So, nobody's trying to start any bleep here, but it with McCarthy, looking at what's happening here from afar. It's, if you're him, would you want a start anew? Does anybody want him to leave? I don't want him to leave. I love him. Do you want him to start? Do you want him to start over Kyler Calm and Carson Calm? People holding on to draft picks too long. That's a talker for a separate day. Like, you're just going to bang the Formica because I took him, and this is my job, and I'm good at my job, and dadgummit, I'm going to make this thing work. We're going to make this thing work. Just determined to make something work, and at all costs. That's not the case here. Shortly after it was determined, draft picks like, say, Brian Asamoah, Caleb Evans, Andrew Booth, Lewis Seen, Jaron Hall, Debo, Dwayne McBride, etc., all gone before the expiration date hit. If the team deems it just isn't working, well, they didn't acknowledge the sell by date. They went with the used up by date and moved on.
I always love that one.
Kyler Murray, Carson Wentz, J.J. McCarthy, and Max Brosmer. Is Murray into Wentz by far the favored 1-2 with the Minnesota Vikings? If that's the case and you're J.J. McCarthy, what's your take on the situation? That's pretty much what I'm wondering. Does your representation look at other teams where perhaps you like start now, game one this year, or absolutely be the backup right behind the starter? Which leads us to who needs quarterbacks? Las Vegas Raiders. Fernando Mendoza will be their quarterback. The New York Jets traded Justin Fields to KC. They currently have Geno Smith, Brady Cook, and Bailey Zappi. The Cleveland Browns, Deshaun Watson, Shedeur Sanders, and Dylan Gabriel. What about Miami? Malik Willis, Quinn Ewers, and something called Cam Miller. Coach Jeff Hafley, who happens to be close with Kevin O'Connell, he broke down McCarthy before games last year. Why I'm bringing that up is because I'm thinking like how Malik plays and how JJ plays, and there are some similarities. Wouldn't you agree that there are similarities to the way Malik Willis plays, even though he's a better runner at this stage, but he's more of a veteran? There are similarities to the way Malik plays compared to J.J. McCarthy. Can I get a witness?
Yes, sir. Hallelujah. Absolutely. I would. That's not a comparison that I would think would be on a lot of people's radar, but I think it's actually pretty spot on, Peter.
That's what we do 9 to noon. No cap. So here's why I brought it up. Hafley was the defensive coordinator for the Green Bay Packers last year. So that means he got into deep diving film with 2 games versus J.J. McCarthy and the Minnesota Vikings taking on his Green Bay Packers. So I wonder what he thinks. Well, in those games, J.J. threw for 134 passing yards per game with 0 touchdowns and 2 interceptions. I kind of always hate that one. But if McCarthy plays like Willis, that could be an interesting one, too. So here's the deal. This is FINA, Fairness and 9 to Noon Act. 9 to Noon in no way is suggesting the Minnesota Vikings want to trade J.J. McCarthy or that he wants to be with another team. But it fit the calm, confusing, controversial, calamity-laden peace and approach to said peace because, for some, there would be controversy if J.J. McCarthy was traded. There would be controversy if J.J. McCarthy was traded. He's J.J.! But what about the confusing part of the equation? That involves the Minnesota Timberwolves, and we'll share that next.
Never miss your chance to know what the latest sports news is in town, opportunities to win tickets, and knowing what is going on with all of your favorite KFAN shows. Follow KFAN 1003 on all of our social channels like Instagram, TikTok, and X right now. Stay connected and follow the sports leader, KFAN.
So I just cracked open your Finsta account for the first time during the show. And I see a contribution from somebody named Shea Butter at Butta Sports, Butta, at Butta Sports. I like this. And I think, once I get around to it, I'm probably going to follow this. Shea Butter writes, as the Wolves go, LMAO, laugh my booty off. So Amp brings us back to the Western Conference Finals and the best stretch of basketball the Wolves have ever seen in franchise history. He goes down for a couple of games, actually 4. He goes down for a couple of games, and y'all turn your backs on him. And then all caps. He has been putting us on his back for seasons now. Maybe he should go to Atlanta Wow. Well, you got to drop that Atlanta bomb in there.
Right.
Conversation with Jalen Johnson. So Johnny Athletic responded to it. That's an elite basketball mind right there. Krasinski. Johnny Athletic writes, no one with any intelligence is saying the Wolves are better, just trolls out there.
9 to noon.
So I'm glad I saw that before we started this segment because Chris Finch and the Minnesota Timberwolves into the Celtics game, off the Blazers game. All right, the rebounding, it's a talker and it still has some issue to it, but after that Portland game, Finchy went public with his frustration with rebounding and as you would say, low key, Julius in his rebounding after the Portland loss. And then after that same loss on Friday, Gobert was beating himself up in the locker room after losing a key rebound end of the game. Now, Chris and Julius go way back to their New Orleans days. And when I heard this and when I saw this, first thing I thought was, Chris always has been Julius Randle's biggest fan, and he still is. Chris Finch is a massive fan of Julius Randle's game. So if there's anybody who knows when to push or when to back off with Julius Randle and public critique, it would be Finchy. It would be Finchy. Now, things get louder on social media than they should, and context is completely eliminated, but what I'm talking about now is out there. So with the Western Conference lot in life and these Timberwolves, with or without Ant, who wants the LA Lakers? Perhaps with Julius Randle, perhaps Julius consistently plays too far from the basket. Maybe that plays into some of the rebounding commentary that's taking place. Off Finchy demanding more rebounding from Randle, we played the Boston Celtics over the weekend. In fact, it was Sunday. And that was the first game after Finchy talked about Randle rebounding or lack thereof. Julius responded with 9 rebounds in 29 minutes at Boston. Problem is, he shot 3 of 14 and really was the 5th most impactful player in the game behind Bones, Ayo, McDaniels, and Naz Reid. 9 rebounds. Sunday was the most Julius had gathered in 2 weeks. 9 points, the fewest he had scored in a game in a month. It's the yin and the yang. It's the topsy and the turvy. It's the give and the take. Has Julius Randle in any way become an enigma? In any way, has Julius Randle become an enigma? What does enigma mean? A person or thing that is mysterious, puzzling, or difficult to understand. With young Maxwell Fuller, his "it's just lunch" profile calls himself a person that is mysterious, puzzling, and difficult to understand.
I always love that one.
Don't call it a comeback. My lunch has never been gone. Would that describe Julius Randle? Enigmatic. I don't know. Minnesota's 3-1 the last 4, sans Anthony Edwards. Ant shoots about 21 times per game, all right, and has a wonderful percentage for a high-volume chucker, and that's what he is. He shoots a lot at a good percentage. So what's different, sans Edwards, and where are those shots going? When we pay this off, and it probably will take place somewhere in the middle portion of the show, it involves, but is not limited to, Jaden McDaniels, Rudy Gobert, Bones Highland, Ayo Dosunmu, and Dante DiVincenzo, Anthony Edwards, of course, and solving riddles and puzzles. You're not going to want to miss that. And we're going to drop those talkbacks in the middle portion of the show, too, and give away a prize at the end of the radio presentation. KFAN Sports Time is 10 o'clock. When we return, we segue to football with the Scribe. Ben Gessling joins next.